Bucko's Bounties.
Yo, Bucko, it's Zero, come back to you with another figure review. Today we have the Rogue One squad. Now typically I don't do videos like this that often, but I figured with the re-release of Rogue One in theaters, yeah, by the way, that's happening if you didn't know. It's in like select theaters though. There's only one theater in my whole city that's playing it, so chances are if you live in a big city you might have a theater or two playing it. If not, you're kind of out of luck. And they're playing like a little like 10-minute preview of Andor, which actually the preview is actually pretty cool, but it's mostly just like it's basically that clip they put where he's meeting with the client and the client's like asking him about all this stuff. It's just like a 10-minute like extended version of that. It's really good. I don't know if it's worth just going to see Rogue One just for that, but it might be worth going to see Rogue One just to see Rogue One. I'm surprised they even put it back in theaters. Let's go ahead and take a little quick look at the boxes. I'm not going to go too into details. Alright, so anyways, really quickly, here's the look of the side of the packaging. Honestly, you know, the color's amazing. Pretty much, man, like, I love the purple from the squad of the Rebels, but yeah, I didn't even pick up the full mural for the Rebels, but these guys, man, I'm glad I have all of them. So yeah, they are in numerical order, and unlike the Rebels crew where they just kind of did them like so out of order, it kind of made me mad because they had the opportunity to, you know, be like, oh, Spectre 1, Spectre 2, Spectre 3, whatever. But yeah, at least here they are in order of which I believe they appear in the film. So you got number 1 Jyn Erso, number 2 Andor, K2SO is number 3, Chirrut, number 4 Baze, number 5 Bodhi is number 6. That's also the order I'm going to be looking at them. But yeah, besides that, really not too much else to look at the box. You should know everything about the bios right now, so let's get these out of here. Alright, so first figures first, we got Jyn Erso. Now, if you really wanted to, you could probably pick up the original version of this girl for like under like $5. I mean, I saw her literally at like 99 cents some places online at some point, and it was never really worth picking up some of these guys because I was just like, they look so bad. But yeah, now honestly this upgrade was worth paying for. I know a lot of these guys are gonna get clearanced out again. Probably not that bad. They actually look good, so honestly, if you want to pick them up, I probably would. Her face sculpt looks really freaking good, and her paint apps are pretty good. They're pretty much just more cleaned up version of the original paint apps. Like, oh man, I've seen some pretty bad paint apps on the original figure. Like that red was like all over the place, and yeah, and that yellow was like all over the place. So honestly, it's worth just paying for the cleaner paint apps. But yeah, she looks so freaking good. That face, it actually really does look like her. It is a little glossier shine. I don't know, there's something up with it, but it does look really good. I think it's a little too glossy. And again, I really wish you get the Imperial look for her, but besides that, it's a pretty good figure. I could live with this for now. Honestly, if she gets really cheap, I might pick up the other figure and do a face swap where she's in the Edu outfit or whatever, but looks really good. Let's get into her accessories real quick. So, of course, she comes with her pistol. This thing is really nice. It's done in that really nice silver. I love that it's a Luger pistol from World War II. It looks really freaking cool. And then that goes ahead and just, you can holster it, bam, right in here. You pull that out. There's a little spot for it. Put that in there. Okay. Now, the really weird thing is with her hands. Her hands are so freaking small. I mean, like, just compared to like Cassian's hand, like, yeah, that thing's freaking tiny. I don't even think Sabine or some of these, I don't know. She has super tiny hands. I don't even know if Ray has those tiny hands. I have the original Ray figure, but yeah, like, look how freaking tiny that is. The finger barely holds on there. Whack. Now she also does come with this hood out of the packaging, and this was a bitch to get off of her, but I'll show you what it looks like with it on her. Yeah, so it's easier putting it on than off. It looks okay. I kind of, if I do buy another one of her, I'm probably gonna cut the hood off of this one, and because she does wear this outfit with just the scarf kind of, so it's kind of frustrating. It's just like they could have made this a different piece or something, but whatever. That's what you get for having reusing old figures. I guess we'll look at articulation real quick. So yeah, just keep in mind this is a mold from a really old figure. So you got a hinge and swivel at the head, it goes up to a ball joint. You get, I don't know, I'm really not a fan of that movement. It's just it almost wants to move that way, but it just won't move the way I want it to. It's kind of frustrating. You got a hinge and swivel at the shoulders, same thing, hinge and swivel at the shoulders, and then both the hands have a hinge and swivel. They move in and out, which is, oh, this one does have the up and down for aiming, so that's kind of nice. Got the ball joint at the torso. That's pretty decent articulation. Then her legs go forward that much, back a little bit. That's kind of nice. Got that double jointed knee. She can't really kick her own ass, unfortunately, but it is nice seeing some double jointed knees. I know people vouch for the single jointed, but I don't know. Got the thigh swivel, of course. And then you got a boot cut, which is really cool. And you got a hinge swivel. You got the forward facing pin for rocker, but yeah, it doesn't really go forward at all. It does go back. And yeah, you get to see more of that detail there. That's kind of cool. I think the biggest thing about this figure is you definitely want to pick it up for the face app and for the paint apps, because those silver paint apps all around are super clean. Probably won't find that on the original figure, or at least the ones that I've seen in the store, but yeah, she's a super clean figure. She's gonna look good on the shelf. But again, still hoping for the Imperial disguise Jinner, so that would be amazing. And then getting into the next figure, we got Cassian himself. Out of the 6 of these guys, this is like the most plain figure. Honestly, the coolest thing about him is his blaster, but yeah, he does look pretty good though, especially if you wanted to. I remember people were buying the Edu one with his like kind of winter coat to do custom snow troopers, or his custom Hoth troopers. Probably do some custom Scarif rebels with this guy too, because he's got that very nice like khaki color, tan and beige colors going on. So it's a pretty good figure. If you can get him for really cheap, you probably make some really good customs. But yeah, he has some pretty good paint apps going on with him, especially his face. His face looks really freaking good. Now, will we get another Cassian figure for when Andor comes out? I mean, they have that San Diego Comic-Con version or whatever that they released, but I don't know, they haven't announced any Andor figures. It's kind of weird. But yeah, the paint apps got that nice kind of tan going on. I don't even remember that on the original figure. I'm sure it was there. It's probably a mess though. Then you got the nice silver paint apps. That definitely is way cleaner than it was on the original figure. That thing was probably just a blob of silver. Got the kind of rank badge. Yeah, just really clean paint apps. So got to give credit where credit's due. You got, this is, yeah, really paint clean apps all around. Even on his shoes, you got silver down there. Really nice. And then getting into accessories. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know what it is. Every single one of these guys, it was like the 7 deadly sins of the hands of Black Series. Every single one of these guys just kind of like, it's kind of like, the hands. Yeah, so the hand just completely popped off. It pops in and out. It's not really a problem. It's just like super weird. I don't really know what they're going for there. It almost like works as like a ball joint, but oh man, it's really kind of ridiculous. And then also, this is a in and out hinge, so it doesn't go up and down for aiming, so that's really annoying. Same thing with the other hand. So again, one of my biggest pet peeves is when you have a gun and you don't get that up and down hinge. Really annoying. But speaking of guns, we're going to get into his blaster here now. In the packaging, this comes in 3 separate parts, and honestly, this is one of the coolest blasters we got in Black Series. Yeah, it breaks down. Looks really nice. They did really good silver paint apps on there, but yeah, these parts are super bendy. But yeah, this looks really freaking dope. You can go ahead and pull that part off and that part off to kind of get that blaster he uses throughout the whole movie. Yeah, it looks really freaking good. And then, of course, to reattach, you just boop, and then boop. Yeah, there you go. Super awesome. I love that they do this with some of these older figures. They had really cool mechanics on, and of course that goes ahead and just holsters in here. There is no storage for the other parts. So yeah, bleh. And then of course getting into the articulation, same thing with Jin Erso. He's got that hinge that leads up to the ball joint. Again, he kind of gets that annoying movement, but I feel like it's a little better than Jin, but it's still, you know what? Yeah, he looks a little better. I can live with this one. He got the hinge swivel at the shoulder, hinge swivel, single jointed elbow. Bam. I already said there's in and out hinge and swivels. They're kind of annoying. Got the ball joint at the torso. This one's actually pretty good. You got your leg goes forward that far, back not too far. You got your thigh swivels, double jointed knee. He does kick his own ass. He is definitely, it's funny, he's pinless, or yeah, the pinless here. I think honestly it would be more impressive with the current Black Series if they weren't single jointed, because you can say they're pinless or whatever, but really it's just they got rid of the double jointed so they don't have to do the pinless. That's kind of what it was. You got your, for some reason, no boot swivel. You'd think they'd do that if they can get away with it on Jin. And then got your forward facing pin for rockers. Alright, and next up we got K2SO. Definitely the easiest to go through out of all these figures. I already did a review of him a while back if you want to see that. And just know that there's like 3 variants of this guy. There's the newest one with the clean paint apps, obviously. Then there's one with the white eyes that was like the original release. And then there's one with red eyes that I have. And then obviously they're gonna make a freaking Jedi Fallen Order one. And then also there's that Galaxy's Edge pack one, which I do have that. I need to open that because that one is actually kind of cool. But anyways, he does not come with any accessories. If they ever do re-release this guy for some reason, I really hope they include one of these blaster pistols, because these need to start coming with more freaking characters, man. I need some more of these for my army, and they come with like no characters. So I will note that I opened this guy in like October or November last year, and he's kind of like getting bow-legged. So yeah, one of the awkward things about the sculpt, but yeah, he is one of my tallest figures I own. He is probably the tallest in the Black Series. I'm not sure who is taller than him besides like the Wampa or something, but yeah, very nice paint apps. Got that Imperial logo on both sides. Nice yellow paint apps. I could definitely tell you they're way better than the original. Just clean paint apps all around. And then in terms of articulation, you got a ball joint that kind of goes in this like cylinder that goes up to another ball joint. So you actually get really good articulation. I actually really like this. I kind of want to do a custom with one of these if I can get them for cheap. Who knows if they're ever gonna go down on the clearance that much. I mean, they're all on clearance on GameStop right now, so who knows. They got a hinged swivel at the shoulder. You can go up that far. I want to try to push it past that because it's kind of bending this. Yeah, it goes all the way around. And then I actually love the articulation they did with this guy. So not only do you get this like kind of like clear thing here, but yeah, it's bends and swivels, and yeah, it just does so much. It's really freaking dope. And then you got your hinge swivel at the wrist. Yeah, really, I don't know. I really like the articulation on this guy. For the time, it was really freaking cool. You got a ball joint at the torso. You don't really get much going on here. Then your legs go forward that far, back that far. They are on, it's kind of weird, like double ball and socket type of thing. Got the ball joint there, and then you got this kind of like, looks like they try to do a thigh swivel. I don't really know. I don't really want to mess around with that too much. And then yeah, same thing with they did with the elbows. Really nice here. You got that swing. You got that kind of swivel, and then bam bam, and then same thing for the leg here, and then it goes all the way down, and then you got, I don't know, the articulation here is really weird where you can even get the feet go like side to side. I don't know, you got some funky stuff going on here, but actually I don't know, it's really creative articulation. I really like what they did with some of these droids, like the battle droid and stuff. Really good figure. If you don't have a K2, pick them up, because even if you aren't collecting the Rogue One figures, you can use them in like a Jedi Fallen Order diorama or something. Really cool figure. Alright, next up is Chirrut. Let me just tell you right now, I knew this figure was going to be a decent figure. I didn't think I was going to like him as much as I did. He's like, man, he's like an MVP. Honestly, he's like $10 on Amazon if you're watching this as of like what, August 27th, 28th. Really good deal. And let me tell you, I think this might be, out of all the figures I own, the best cloth goods of any figures. I mean, like, this does not hinder his movement at all. It looks good, and I don't have to fight with it to go where I want it to go. So not only that, but they did like this plasticky cape, and I, you know, kind of like when they have like the cloth, like the cloth good capes are good sometime, but yeah, the way that they did the plastic cape and just the mix here is really freaking dope. I know someone would be like, oh, I really want the cloth goods, but the cloth good will not look as good as this does, all bunched up and stuff. In terms of paint apps, face sculpt looks amazing. He probably is the best out of all these redone figures. He looks really freaking good. Yeah, then they got all the paint apps really clean. I think the original version of this figure was probably the best looking of the 4 or 5 they released. But yeah, they got some really good stuff going on. And man, he just got so many details. It's just like this gauntlet's super freaking cool. The way the hand kind of comes down, it's really freaking dope. And then you can get some upskirt. Got really plain legs, but that's not really a problem. I actually was pleasantly surprised when I started articulating his legs, because he was getting some good movement with the skirt. And then yeah, the cloth goods here, I love the red line that runs down, and then you kind of get this like these kind of like roby things on the back side. I mean, they did a really good job with this cloth goods. I mean, this is better than most cloth goods we get nowadays. So Ah man, I wish they would put that much effort into cloth goods and stuff like this again. But overall, really good figure, really good paint apps. Let's look at his accessories. He's got his staff, bow staff, whatever you want to call it. Really nice silver paint apps, and then it's molded in that brown plastic. You can get him into some really good poses with this staff and the bow. Speaking of the bow, out of the packaging, I mean, yeah, this bow is super freaking cool. It's molded in this weird brown plastic. And you got the golden done, and the gold is done really nicely. Love how this thing looks, and I love how this thing articulates. Yeah, it looks super freaking cool. I mean, you get a full range of motion out of this thing, but yeah, and you can just get him posed up really nicely with this, like I showed you before. Now, unfortunately, there is no storage for your alternate weapon, but this does break down into 2 pieces for some reason. No idea why. You can get some really great poses with this guy. Really excellent figure. Like I said, he's like 10 or 11 bucks on Amazon right now if you're in the US. Definitely worth looking at. If you don't have it, pick him up. He is probably my favorite of the original 5 here. But I'm not sure if he's my favorite or not. That has to go to one other figure, but we'll get to him in a few minutes. Right, but getting into articulation on this bad boy. So again, he has that hinge that goes up into a ball joint. You don't get great movement out of him, whatever. And you got that hinge and swivel at the shoulder. So both sides, you can get the T-pose going. Single jointed elbows. Then your wrist goes up or in and out. And then this one does go up and down because they figured he would need to aim, and honestly that's really cool for like the bow staff too. And you got a ball joint, kind of ball joint at the torso. It doesn't really move that well. And then of course legs go forward that far, back not too far. You got that thigh swivel, you got your double jointed knees. Almost kicks his own ass. I think the cloth goods are in the way. Then you got the hinge swivel. You got the hinge swivel at the ankle and the forward facing pin for rocker. Now we are getting into a really dope figure, but honestly probably the most frustrating to pose figure. This is Baze Malbus. Yeah, he is honestly waist down. He's super frustrating to pose. But yeah, this is definitely a figure that if they released today, they would probably retool everything, do it as a deluxe figure, which honestly, I don't know. I don't think I would mind it after playing with this one. This does look great. They definitely wouldn't have to remake this, but yeah, I would almost really like if they did, just to get better articulation and chest pieces and stuff going. But he's a great looking figure. He's just really frustrating to pose, but I'm sure if I messed around with him enough, I would be able to get some good poses out of him. But yeah, that face sculpt looks really freaking good. I think the hair needs to be a little darker, but besides that, it does look really good. Love the red on this figure. Matches Chirrut. It's really freaking cool. Got really clean paint apps all around on everything. Yeah, and then you got this silver tool, which I almost thought was a separate accessory. It looks really good. Got that giant peg hole in the back. Really awkward. And then, and not too much else going on. You got like nice weathering on this kind of plate here, but besides that, you got this kind of like really weird like candy red. Not really candy red, but yeah, it kind of looks candy red. But yes, he is pretty nicely detailed. Like, they did a really good job detailing him, but man, he's frustrating to pose. Now that I got him in a pose, it's not that bad, but Anyways, taking a look at his accessories, so out of the packaging, he has this big set, you know, his backpack with all the freaking, like, I don't know, he almost operates this thing like a shotgun. It's kind of freaking sick. Not gonna lie. Go ahead and attach this to the gun here. Doesn't want to stay on too well, but it's gonna, you know, they had to do that for obvious reasons. And here's a better look at the weapon. Super clean paint apps on these things. Like, holy crap, looks super good. Like, holy crap, look at that gold. Super nice. Yeah. Then go ahead and attach that onto the back here, and then plop that in here. Now I did have to take an X-Acto knife to his finger because it was kind of molded together out of the packaging. I guess that's what happens when you whip out an old mold like that, but and also you have to kind of like bend this hand to get into place, so be careful with that. But yeah, but once you get this figure all posed up correctly, he looks really good, though you are gonna have to fight with him to get him to balance. Alright, speaking of articulation though, oh man, you really aren't going to get like any movement out of his head up here. I'm pretty sure it's on, yeah, if you see right through there, it is on a hinge that goes up to the ball joint, but you aren't going to be able to use that at all. Actually, you can kind of use it. Okay, yeah, you can use it a little bit. Not, yeah, a little. Not too much though. Then you got your hinge, swivel goes up to the shoulder, get about, yeah, that's not bad. Of course, single jointed elbows, and then you got your hands. This one goes in and out, swivel. This one goes, this one does go up and down, and I didn't even know this thing could detach from here. Wow. Okay, good to know. You got a ball joint at the torso. You're really not gonna, I don't even know if it is a ball joint or if it's just like a swivel. Not really sure what's going on at the torso. Then your legs go forward, really not that far because it's freaking pouch. A little bit backwards, not really out to the side at all because the pouches. Got your thigh swivels, you got your double jointed knees, does not kick his own ass. No boot cuts, and then you got hinge at the ankle and a forward facing pin for rockers. Again, pretty decent figure overall. He's really hard to pose though. Does look great. It's gonna look great next to the other characters, but honestly I don't really see, if you aren't buying the other characters, I don't really see a real big reason to pick him up unless you really like the character, which he is a dope ass character. But yeah, he's just, honestly, he's kind of like how I feel about some of the McFarlane figures. But besides that, I mean, he is a good figure at the end of the day. He is a figure though that if they that honestly he would be a deluxe if they remade him in, in 2022. But yeah, they would probably redo all this vest and stuff and actually make him more articulate. Like Saw Gerrera, if he was made back when these figures were made, probably have the same problems that this guy has right now. So just something to think about if they ever remade this figure. He'd probably be really freaking good. But he does look really good, and he's worth picking up if you're picking up the other figures. Definitely don't skip out on him. And last but not least, the newest figure of the bunch, and honestly he might be my favorite figure of the bunch. I don't know, but yeah, this guy Bodhi here looks really freaking good. I mean, oh man, he looks really freaking good. He looks, yeah, that's really freaking dope. Seeing that paint, that paint looks really weird seeing that, but oh well, not a big deal. But yeah, everything from his clear goggles to his face, super good. Got really nice face printing. I'm gonna have to get him one of the silver Rebel blasters because this is a little bit He's got really nice details. Then he's got his Imperial insignia, and then the pilot tools, his little comm thing. Yeah, besides that, he's kind of plain from the waist down, which isn't a bad thing. I'm pretty sure that's how he looks in the movie. He looks really freaking good. Honestly, I wonder if you'd be able, if you took off the vest, what this would look like. But pretty decent figure. Hold on, let's get this off. Yeah, here's a better look at the back of him without the backpack on. Not too much going on back here. Would have been really nice if they painted these little silver buckles, but oh well. You're probably not going to see him anyways, just because the backpack is most likely going to be on him. But yeah, and see the back of his hair. He's got that nicely painted headband going on. Yeah, looks really freaking good. Getting into his accessories, of course, he comes with the blaster. It's just that plain, like, kind of gunmetal gray color. Not too much going on here. I kind of want to swap this out. And then, of course, you got his backpack with the cable. This thing is really freaking cool because not only does the cable extend out, you can extend this all the way out. There's a ton of ropes. This goes pretty far, but you can kind of get your finger in there and then roll it back up. Really freaking dope. And this goes ahead and latches on here. So yeah, this thing is pretty freaking cool, man. Really dig this thing. Yeah, but I'm glad they finally made this figure because he was definitely missing in the line. I mean, they made like a die cast, like 6 or 7 inch one that was pretty much the only way you can get this figure. And hell, I don't even think they even made like a 3 3/4 inch figure. I can't remember. But yeah, they really gypped this guy out of a figure. But kind of glad he got a figure now, because I don't know how much I would like the figure if it came out back with these other guys. But really freaking dope. So you got, taking a look at the articulation. Yeah, I want to say that this is the neck is supposed to move, but on mine it's kind of super stiff, not moving at all. So it's kind of the only range of movement you're gonna get is out of this ball joint. Whatever, not too bad. Taking a look through here, you get this butterfly joint. Doesn't work too well, honestly. Then you get a hinge swivel at the shoulder, goes up that far, and then you get single jointed elbows. Because of the way this is shaped, it's very uniform. It blends right in, but it's gonna kind of mess the movement a little bit. Then you got a hinge swivel at the wrists. Of course, this one goes up and down for aiming purposes. You have a ball joint at the torso. Legs go forward that far, back not too much. Thigh swivels, single jointed knee. Really missing those double jointed knees on these new figures, but oh well. As long as it keeps the look clean, I guess it's kind of sacrifice you got to make. Then you do have that boot swivel in there. And you also have a hinge swivel at the ankle and a forward-facing pin for rockers. Always a good time when I can complete an entire team. Again, I don't know when else I'd put out this video, so it was a pretty good time clearing up some of my pile of shame. Honestly, at this point, it's a collection of shame. It's a pile is, maybe like under 20 things, and I definitely have way more than that. But anyways, yeah, these guys are great. Most of these guys are getting clearanced off. Like I said, Chirrut on Amazon for like 12 bucks. Go get them. A lot of these guys are also on clearance at GameStop. Andor is like the most expensive one out of these guys right now. But that's just because his show's coming out soon. But yeah, these guys are pretty good figures. I would definitely consider picking them up. But yeah, you got to get the crew together because they look phenomenal together. I mean, yeah, like I said, Bodhi and Chirrut are definitely the two standout figures, and then K2 is always a good figure, and then the face apps redone on all these guys, really makes them worth it. Yeah, these guys are a good pickup, and they're gonna fill in a good blank space in my shelf that I just haven't had there for a few years now. I'm kind of glad I didn't pick up the older versions of these characters because they are kind of garbage. But anyways, guys, what do you guys think about these figures? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, you can bring them in warm or you can bring them in cold. Thanks for watching and good hunting.